Hello to a star to steer her brought by. Welcome you.
Oh, he's adapting Yoda's speech.
Adapting Yoda's speech, he is. Ames.
This is episode 2, The Phantom Menace, part 2, Attack of the Clones.
Got it.
Electric Boogaloo.
We got there. The new breed.
Yeah, so as we've been doing for the last few weeks, we are continuing along in our masochistic endeavor to watch the Star Wars films. And today we'll be talking about my favorite way to
ruin
weekend. To ruin my week is we're going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. My name is Jake.
This is Chris.
This is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
And I'm sad.
You should be.
Welcome back, Sad.
Hi, Sad. I'm Dad. Hey.
So Attack of the Clones, you know it, you love it. In this movie, the plot's completely incomprehensible.
Oh god, I understood none of it.
So, yeah, if you thought The Phantom Menace was complicated, then,
I did.
Well,
just for the record, I did.
See, Phantom Menace just had a lot going on. This movie had nonsense going on.
No, it's very clear. You see, the Emperor Palpatine.
Okay, following you so far.
He wants to take over the galaxy.
Already lost me.
So he has his friend Dookie.
A former Jedi.
A former Jedi who's turned Darth. He's now Darth Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Would this have been a better movie if he actually was just like a man-sized Tyrannosaurus?
Yeah.
Still played by Christopher Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he does the voice.
But yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. Dookie and Sidious, who's also the Emperor, are playing both sides, you see. So they always come out on top. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
They're each making their own armies.
Independently? Or was this...
No, they're working together.
Was this work... Yeah, was this
They planned
worked out
it.
between
They planned...
them?
Oh, yeah, totally. They're creating their own armies that they're then going to pit against each other. So that...
For fun and profit.
Yes. Yep. But I think they're just trying to destabilize the... Okay, someone explain it.
Yeah, destabilize the Republic to further cement the Chancellor's...
Listen to Chris jumping in like he knows what happened in this movie.
Chris has probably read more synopses of this than we have.
So they move Amidala for a reason.
Yeah, well, because they blew up her decoy, like, whoa.
Right.
Well, because she was the head of the opposition to making the army. So
Missed that totally.
They either needed her killed or at least not on Coruscant during the vote.
That was in the crawl text, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it actually was mentioned at one point.
Okay, I remember there was something in the crawl text.
She's like, oh, we can't have an army.
Well, she was like, as she outright says, as the leader of the anti-whatever group, I should be here.
But here's
when
the
they're
thing.
making her go back to Naboo.
Here's the thing. So they say that. They establish that she is the leading senator in opposition to forming an army. When she leaves, she's like, hey, Jaja.
Oh no, not Jar Jar.
As, you know...
Who decided
the
this?
next senior representative from Naboo, evidently. I guess you're going to have to take over while I'm in hiding. He's like, Misa, do. And then the first thing that he fucking
Where's
does
Boss Nass? He should do this.
It creates a motion to make Palpatine the
Supreme Emperor for life.
Supreme Emperor for life.
Proving the Darth but Jar Jar
and
theory.
allowing him for the specific reason so that he can create the army.
Well, because Sidious was all like, he manipulated them again, which is easy because Jar Jar's a
simple.
fucking idiot.
He's a very weak-minded
There's this
individual.
great moment in Palpatine's office where, like, it's like a joke where, like, Palpatine and some other guy are talking. They're like, if only there were one senator with the courage to vote.
Yeah.
And then they, like, totally mug the camera to, looking at Jar Jar. Cut to Jar Jar, like,
Me vote big power, Okie day. And then they shoot him.
She really maybe should have just left Organa in charge.
I mean, I don't like guns, but damn.
but he's from,
Jar Jar's gotta
he's
go.
from Alderaan.
Yeah, but I'm sure he was part of the opposition bloc.
Yeah, where was he? Well, he didn't speak at all during the...
I feel like he had a scene that was cut or something where they also made it explicit who he was.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I see this being like, they had Jimmy Smits and they just didn't have him talk.
Yeah.
Man.
He has like 2 things to do in the next one, so he eventually
Oh,
gets
good.
to...
That's like double.
The original... Actually, I forgot to mention this. Originally, they did have Bail Organa in episode 1, but the scene was cut. It was a completely different actor.
Yeah.
So it's for the best.
Well, I was going to say, in retrospect, then it's better that they did that.
I don't know. Jimmy Smith's career hasn't been the same since.
Dexter, like from the movie, the show Dexter, his
his
murder buddy is in this movie.
Yeah, that's right.
Thought that was neat.
Who is he?
He was, I don't know.
Well, that's Jimmy Smith's.
Oh, that's Jimmy Smits.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
JK,
about.
I had no idea. Apparently it's the same person.
Yep.
Caitlin has arrived.
Welcome, Caitlin.
Thank you.
So
I'm not sure I'm
Caitlin,
here.
we forced you to watch the amount of movie that you stayed awake for.
I was awake for most
You
of
were
it.
awake, actually, yeah. Once we got
To be fair, I was asleep for about 2 minutes for this entire 6.5-hour movie.
Yeah, once we got to the playing on Naboo with Padme, you were awake, I think. And regretting it, I'm sure.
Vom.
That's where I started to zone out.
But yeah, this movie's terrible.
Oh, wow. And almost none of the CG holds up.
No.
Real bad.
I feel like Watto looked a little better than he did in the first one, at
Except
least.
apparently they must have forgotten how the top of his head looked, because he's wearing a really obviously stupid hat.
Yeah.
Like is it a hubcap he found in his shop that he decided to just wear one day, and everyone was like, that looks really great,
I mean,
Watto.
I think the implication is that he's
Ruined.
He's fallen on hard times. So
Because of what
Yeah.
Qui-Gon did.
That makes sense. He had to sell his...
He had to sell
Slaves
Shmai
and shit.
And...
Well, he
Shmi.
still won all of the prize money from the race, so he's so...
But
he bet so much against
Yeah, like they show it. There is a moment at the end of the race where you just see him, like, very begrudgingly handing money over to a lot of people.
Whoops.
And I'm sure there were even more they didn't
It's a
show.
good detail.
Does that mean he was the
Phantom
bookie?
Menace.
Huh?
Does that mean he was the bookie?
He might have been.
Because don't you usually, like, do a lot of betting, but don't
You
you
can also
usually...
directly bet with someone, though.
You could,
He did that with Qui-Gon.
but I don't know. I guess I thought...
Either way, he's ruined.
Fair.
I don't know if I buy it.
He's also a cheat, so fuck that.
Yeah. Also, he might be wearing his own tooth. Because as I noticed this time, like, he's always had the one broken fang. But I noticed this time that he has something around his neck on a string that looks like it could be the rest of his tooth.
Another good detail. I like Watto more and more.
Yeah.
The only redeemable character in all of Star Wars is Watto.
The slave owner water.
Yeah.
It's so
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Former slave owner.
It's so funny how, like, out of their way Clone Wars goes to try to fix some of the, like, really uncomfortable bullshit from these movies. So, like, when we finally show, like, other Toydarians, like, their whole society... He's, like, the weird exception, bad Toydarian. Like, the rest of them are the nicest people in the universe. They're trying to stay neutral in the war. They got this very strict code of honor and ethics and
We
shit.
hate money.
Yeah, like,
They're all
it's...
Jedis.
I mean, they're resistant to Jedi powers, so that
Makes
seems like
sense,
it'll
yeah.
be pretty good.
So, let's just, I know I'm jumping to the end here, but we just saw it, and
Done. Let's get this one over quick.
George doesn't understand his own universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, the stupid, like the whole thing, a fight between two incredibly high level Jedi shouldn't be a lightsaber duel. Like, there's that big stupid build-up line, like, letting the audience know, here it comes, you have to watch Yoda have a fucking lightsaber fight for some reason. He's like, true, we are matched. We must therefore determine with our lightsabers. Like, no. At that scale, like, realistically, in the biggest scare
Should
quotes
be a
in
game of
history,
Scrabble.
like,
Ooh,
a
yeah.
battle between two people of that level of power in the Force should be incomprehensible to normals.
They should just be throwing...
Not even throwing
things
things.
at each other.
They should be standing there staring at each other.
It should
And
be
you
the
just
thing.
see the air like vibrating
Yeah.
between them.
Yeah, they're staring at each other, the air is
One
vibrating,
of
and
them starts to have
whoever
a
pops a
nosebleed
boner
or something.
first is the one that loses.
Kind of.
Because they don't get to fellate the other person.
But that's what it should be something that, frankly, just unfortunately wouldn't make good cinema, but would make more
I don't
sense.
know.
Yeah.
I think watching Christopher Lee blow Yoda would make great cinema.
But, it shouldn't be an obvious, it should be like these two just standing there wrapped in the fucking Force, and there's something happening on, a level of reality you can't comprehend. You could have even done a cheat where, you maybe cut to, Obi-Wan's first-person point of view, and he can see sort of what's happening for us.
Oh yeah, I'd like that. Because he's being useless laying on the ground right now.
Yeah, because he got a bit of a nick on his leg and his arm.
It was
And
a
that
little
means
more.
he can't stand
Yeah,
up.
but it cauterized immediately.
I'm Owie.
Probably hurt.
Maybe they just stare at each other, just
Obi-Wan.
intently staring at each other, and you see that ball of energy, and then all of a sudden one of them just explodes.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, like scanners.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, because he wants them alive, there's something would still have to cut them off. But, that's what it should be. It not a goddamn lightsaber fight between Christopher Lee. I mean, here's the thing. I want to see Christopher Lee have a lightsaber fight, and I just did. I don't need to see him flail against a CG monster he's being told, all right, now he's here, Chris. Now he's here.
Yeah.
Now he's here. Look that way, Chris. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, this poor son of a bitch. I don't know what the order must have been. He just finished probably Lord of the Rings. The last truly great, large-scale, epic Hollywood production that relied, despite all of the CG even those movies had, still relied pretty heavily on a lot of real sets and practical costume pieces and effects, all this stuff.
Why do we talk so much Lord of the Rings on this podcast?
Well, in this case, there's
We're
at least a direct
nerds.
connection. So he's just finished that. And now it's hi, Chris. So this big green room is actually an arena. It's a huge arena. And there's going to be Jedi fighting droids. And, that will be terribly exciting to see. Oh, no. See, I've filmed every Jedi on their own in a green room, just kind of waving around. And I'm going to paste them in later. And this really is how he did that fight, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The whole Jedi were never together. Well, I mean, they're probably together in little groups, but it literally was just a bunch of people flailing on their own in a green room that he then randomly scattered in the room because he's an idiot.
Yeah. But, speaking of Christopher Lee, though, he's in the movie.
Are we done talking about the Yoda fight?
No, we can talk about the Yoda fight. It was terrible.
It just retcons everything that we loved about Yoda, which was that he's not what you expect a Jedi to be.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And they turned him into everything you expect a Jedi to
And
be.
I don't know about you guys' experience, but when I saw this movie in the theater,
Several times.
yes, the first time, the midnight showing, in fact, the fucking room exploded when Yoda whipped out his lightsaber.
Which is what they should have done
Exploded
to
in
Christopher Lee.
cheers.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I remember sitting there, and I think the theater I was in, it wasn't a midnight showing, but it was a pretty full house. It was sort of a mix. I was definitely one of the people that burst into laughter.
I started doing the Daffy Duck woohoo 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 as he was jumping around.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That I want someone to do.
Oh
my
Because
God.
that might be something no one has put on YouTube
Oh,
yet.
that's true.
I mean, I guess if you go to the showing that is explicitly
Yeah,
filled with
for the
Star
nerds.
Wars fanatics, that it's going to be cheers. But man,
It was...
aside
Jake was just there stifling his vomit.
no, man, I was totally on board with this movie.
All right, you saw it several times. I forgot.
And you were young. This was 2002.
Yeah, I would have been 17 or 18 when this came out. So 16 or 7. I don't fucking know how old I
Young
am.
enough that your tastes don't necessarily get defined yet.
Yeah, and also it's I think that you see something that's very spectacly, and you see it in a crowd of people that are excited about it, and you kind of
Get swept up.
you can go back and find news interviews with people that went to midnight showings of Phantom Menace on YouTube, and they're all very, very, very positive about it.
Yeah, as I recall, there was still a lot of like goodwill for the first bit, and then it pretty quickly wore off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, you haven't had Star Wars in 20, 25 years or so, something like that. And it's like, oh man, it's back! It's new
or
shit.
83.
83.
It's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
If you don't count, of course, the award-winning Ewok movies.
Oh, true. Caravan of Courage. Why didn't we include those in the list?
Because I would fucking resign.
Because we don't just spend a whole week talking about that.
Yeah, have you have you watched all of the holiday special? Anybody else?
I have.
Oh, I have.
I haven't
Yeah,
watched
it's fucking terrible.
Fucking awesome.
Where do you compare it to Attack of the Clones?
I'd rather watch the holiday
You ever
special
see,
again.
there's a clip online of it's Ewan McGregor. Is that how you say his name? We're gonna find out it's like Owen later.
No,
Yeah.
It's actually Colin.
Colin. We see Colin McGregor at some kind of like red carpet event, and it must have been right after they announced the title of the film publicly, and the interviewer asked him, "Oh, what do you think of the title of the new Star Wars movie?" And he hadn't heard it yet. He didn't know because they didn't ever have the title, I guess, when they filmed it. And he goes, "Oh, what is it?" Even though he doesn't at all sound like
Scottish.
"Oi, governor, what's the title gonna be?" And they're like, "Oh, it's Attack of the Clones," and he laughs. And he thought it was a joke
Oh no.
because of just how stupid of a fucking title it is.
Oh man.
Nice job, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant that? Oh, dear.
So, what does anybody actually want to talk about in this movie? Is there anything you want to talk about in this movie?
I want to talk about a lot of things in this movie.
Yeah. 'Cause,
Most of them just a little bit, or we'll all go out of our minds.
yeah.
It's gonna be like the quickest Star Wars episode we've ever done.
That's for the best.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right, go ahead, Ames. Take us
Me?
away.
Oh no, not me.
You said you had some little things to talk about.
You'll give us structure.
Shit.
Or you'll
Oh
try.
my god,
You
that
have all
is
these
so
notes?
many notes.
They're not. This is all the characters in the show.
Oh, that
Holy
doesn't matter.
shit.
Who was in this show, Ames?
Kid Fisto, and that's all that matters.
That's
Old
true.
Kid
He's
Fisto.
Well, here, let's start off with Anakin Skywalker, because I have a list of other auditioners,
Oh,
and
right.
also apparently Leonardo DiCaprio had met with Lucas to talk about the role, but later was quote definitely unavailable.
Good thinking, Leo.
Smart
He's
job, buddy.
a
Good
good
head on
actor.
his shoulders. That
Well, I also
kid.
feel like by that point, like, as young as Anakin's supposed to be, he looks too old.
Mm.
He also, I mean, I don't know, because as we were pointing out while we were watching, there's a lot of otherwise good actors in this movie giving really horrible performances.
Yeah, George just clearly can't direct actors.
I know.
No.
Natalie Portman, good actress. You'd never know from watching these movies.
No,
Yeah.
I thought she was bad for ages.
So our other auditioners for Anakin Skywalker included Jonathan Brandis, who I looked up and forgot already
Brandis,
what
yeah.
he's done.
Jonathan Brandis? Yeah.
Brandis?
Yeah, Brandis.
Familiar
Cool.
name.
He's no longer with us.
Oh,
sad
So-
face.
Wasn't he on Sequest?
Wouldn't know.
Nah.
I'll
Oh,
let
was
you
he
look
the
that
son?
Yeah, Jonathan Brandis. Let's take a quick. But yeah.
While you're doing that, Devon Sawa.
Oh, I love Devin.
Oh,
I've heard
he's
of
a
him.
hot
Yeah,
he's
he-
in
ass.
Final Destination.
He passed away in 2003, Jonathan Brandis.
Oh,
Very
wow.
sad.
He wouldn't have even made it to the.
He was 27, yeah.
Oh, snap. That's sad.
That's
Devon Sawa is Casper. When
Yeah.
Casper comes to life in
Oh,
Casper.
okay, that's
Yeah.
why I've heard of him.
He's also in Idle Hands.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
no.
I love Idle Hands.
I've never
Idle Hands
seen
is
it,
Great.
But I
He
remember the
is-
trailer, so he made an impression.
Yeah.
He's a hot motherfucker.
Joshua Jackson would be interesting to me.
You know, he probably would have been okay.
I
Yeah,
think he looks too close to Ewan McGregor.
that's fine.
Wait, Joshua Jackson.
Pacey from Dawson's Creek. and,
Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks,
I know-
Pacey.
well, I
Fringe.
know-
Fringe, yeah.
I vaguely
The
I know who
Affair.
he is from I never watched Dawson's Creek, but I used to buy all the
Oh, that
all the
guy.
mags when I was a
Okay.
kid, all the Tiger
Which
Beats,
guy?
and he was in there. Him, James
Jonathan,
Vanderbilt.
Joshua Jackson.
I think the problem with him is he's definitely the same type of handsome that Ewan McGregor is.
Fair enough.
I'm
yeah.
not against. Well,
No, I mean it's fine.
various
I just think
handsomes.
having the two of them on screen together, that the theater owners would rebel because they'd have to keep drying out the seats.
also, the fanboys would have had a field day with the whole, like, he's the closest thing I have to a father. It's like, they look a lot alike. Wait a minute!
Ryan Philippe.
Oh,
I love
Ryan
Ryan
Phillippe.
Here's a choice.
He was in Cruel Intentions.
Yes.
That hot son of a bitch. Man,
Colin-
everybody was hot. And they wound up with this fucking kid?
Colin Mealy?
close. Colin Hanks.
Colin Hanks.
No.
Like,
Wait.
Colin
Which
Hanks.
one's the bad Hanks?
He's the good Hanks.
Okay, he's
There's
the
a
good
bad
one.
Hank?
Yeah.
There's a bad one. Yes.
Tad.
Tom Hanks.
Tad.
No, his other son is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Everyone
No,
hates him.
I have no idea.
Tom Hanks made Bad Seed? It's hard to imagine.
believe, but he's like a rapper and
Oh.
annoying.
Professional douchebag.
But I don't know. Every time I see Colin Hanks in something, he has a pissant quality to him.
He does.
He
but,
just plays a lot of pissants. What
Yeah.
what have we seen him in which he's not a pissant?
It's way better
That's
than this
true.
movie we just
All
watched.
I can think of
He was in Dexter. He was supposed to be a
pissant.
badass. He was a pissant.
off the top of my head, the only thing I've seen him in is I forget what it even was, but he's playing like a priest. And he wasn't a pissant, but he's yeah, I believe him as a priest. He's got no chin. And...
He was in the first season of Fargo, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a bad actor. I couldn't see him being
Not in
badass
this
Jedi.
I
I
see
can't
him,
see Natalie Portman falling for Colin Hanks.
I could see him as a Jedi, but not the chosen one.
You
Yeah.
should have got Clint Howard.
Is that all?
Who's Paul Walker?
Paul Walker was in the
he
Fast
was
and
the
Furious,
guy.
but he passed
He's also
away
good.
by being in a car accident.
I remember that.
But that was much more recent.
But he was handsome.
He
guy.
would have
He
lived. He would have
actually
lived
he
long
looks a
enough to
lot
regret
like
making those
Hayden
movies.
Christensen.
Does
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had clearly misremembered because I thought James Vanderbeek auditioned, but it was the other guy from.
Dawson's Creek.
I legit thought that he had been up for the part. I must have made that up.
I love James Vanderbeek, and nothing will ever dissuade me.
I mean, I'm fond of him, if only because I know he played a ridiculous version of himself in a TV show.
Oh yeah, Don't Trust
Is
the
he
Bee.
also in Cruel Intentions?
No, that was Ryan
No,
Phillippe.
that's right. No, not him. Pacey's in it too, isn't he? Isn't he the gay best friend?
He's the gay best friend. I totally forgot about that. He has bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, he's
and...
got a mouth like a Hoover.
Yeah.
Woo! That's all I remember of his character
Yeah.
in that
Oh,
film.
dear. But yeah, so I've got a lot of time for anyone who does something like that. And also, he was in that really weird but oddly good Power Rangers fan film from a few years ago. Remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh god, yeah, someone made this fan film that was it was sort of a dark future where the bad guys had won and he was interrogating, I think, he was a former ranger who'd gone evil. It was really surprisingly well made, and they should have done that instead of the shitty movie they churned out a couple of years ago.
And this has been
2,000 years, I'm free!
James Vanderbeek
Corner, yeah.
talking about an actor who was not at all involved or even considered for Star Wars.
That's how badly we want to avoid
That's
talking
true, I'm
about
sorry.
this terrible movie.
It's so much more fun to talk about that than this. What else is going on? What else do you got?
Hayden Christensen hates sand.
Was anyone else considered for Count Dooku?
Yes.
Yes.
Count Chocula.
Initially, it was going to be an alien, but then they were like, "Oh, Christopher Lee just signed on. Do you want to make Count Dooku just
smart.
Christopher Lee?" Yeah,
Oh wow, that's cool.
I got that from the IMDb trivia, which I read during the movie because it was more
Nice.
interesting
God.
than the movie.
So what that means is George's original idea was to have
an
little
all
CG
CG
Yoda have a lightsaber duel with a different CG monster. Jesus fucking.
Isn't that what they do with General Grievance in the next movie?
General
Anyway?
Grievance.
Well, no, but again, there's
General
at least
Grievance.
one human there.
General Grievance.
Yeah, I do know Christopher Lee, had a stunts person do all the close-ups of the battle, and then they digitally added his face.
Yeah.
So it's not just
That
a
holds
stunt
up.
person doing the thing.
Wow.
Yeah, Christopher Lee, the literal inspiration for James Bond,
One of them.
is this is one of his
One of the James Bonds.
final notable film.
I mean, I think his last film role was a cameo in Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, so...
Which is a fucking great movie. Don't you dare.
I mean, it's
A better
fun,
movie than
but-
this. Let's talk about
Oh,
that
yeah.
instead.
I haven't seen it, so...
Oh my god, it's great. I mean, it's good. It's
I don't
not...
know. Chris seems to think.
No,
you liked it.
I enjoy it, but I'm sure Christopher Lee would have preferred a better send-off.
Well, probably better that than this. Consider that Sean Connery went to the grave with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen as his last credit, didn't he?
There's a terrible animated film. We'll talk about it later.
Anywho,
On this podcast?
No.
Or? Oh,
yeah.
darn.
So I don't know. Christopher Lee's a good get for,
Yeah, he
for
is.
this
Yeah.
film, but
I understood nothing about his character.
No, that's true.
That's the thing. Like, every time there was a whole scene in which Christopher Lee and somebody, I want to say Sam Jackson, were just expositioning at each other. But it was so dull, I tuned out. Therefore, I have no idea what the fuck they were talking about. Granted, I'm sure this movie is so complicated and like just convoluted that there's nothing to understand.
Was it just Sam Jackson being like, "Did you take our P card?" and Christopher Lee being like, "Yes,
Man,
yes, I did."
I truly,
with that big deep voice of his.
I truly do not know who the audience for this film was. I mean, I do. It was
Star Wars.
Star Wars fans but like. And I guess
because we saw R2-D2 in the first scene.
They don't need new fans anymore.
It's like McDonald's doing advertising. Why bother?
Yeah.
We all know.
But like,
the fans create new fans. They show them the good stuff, and then they're automatically going to see new things.
But like, I don't know if this is George Lucas trying to be like, look, I can create films with complex plots and because I'm sure the original Star Wars got critiqued a lot for being simplistic and whatever.
Well, Wizard of Oz was considered to be
like
unimaginative.
Nobody ever needed to be explained. What happened in Star Wars or what happened in Empire Strikes Back. It's all on the page. But these films, The Phantom Menace was bad enough, but this one just takes it to another level. It's unbelievably convoluted.
Well,
I'll give them this. It's convoluted, but it's all there.
Is it? What is it that is all there?
I mean, again, the plan is convoluted, but it's there in retrospect. You're like, okay, so this is what's been happening the whole... It only makes sense on like a second viewing.
Really? Did you have that?
But
you had that moment during this, did you?
That's better than episode 9, where they've admitted most of it is in the novelization.
Yeah, but episode 9 I don't think was convoluted. I just think it was terrible and stupid.
I think it was rewriting bullshit to make up for episode 8.
But this, this movie just jumps around from, like, we open up with this, there's this murder plot against Queen Amidala that's apparently because...
They blow up her decoy.
Yep.
Yeah, apparently it's because she wants to form, or wants to prevent the formation of the Republican Army.
Yeah.
And this is because, she was, the assassin that tried to kill her was hired by Jango Fett, who was hired by the Kaminoans, who had a...
Well, presumably
it's subcontractors all the way down.
Yeah, it is. So here's the thing. The problem is everything's out of order. So basically, Palpatine needs to start a civil war to shore up his position. Mm-hmm. He started this plan years ago when, to quote Caitlin, he stole the Jedi's P card and asked the Kaminoans to start making the army.
When we say P card, what do we mean?
Purchasing card.
Yeah. Okay. Credit card.
It's a
the company credit card.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly,
Hold up though. But so they kept mentioning some other Jedi.
Sifo Dyas.
Who is that?
He was some other Jedi that they were, I think it was his P card they stole specifically. Because he's dead.
He's dead,
fuck.
so they just said, it was this guy.
They got it out of his mailbox before they canceled the mail.
Why did they keep bringing him up in the movie? Why didn't they just be like, yeah, the Jedi Council ordered us to make
I don't know.
These clones.
So
why bring another guy in?
Well, because they had to.
Hold on, try to explain this fucking movie.
But that's how Obi-Wan knew something was up. Was because he was like, that dude's been dead for a long ass time.
Well, he could have placed an order, died, and it takes more than 10 years to make 1 million clones.
Yeah. So Palpatine steals P card or whatever, makes the army, starts turning Tyrannus at some point. And then it's like, all right, now you start creating the Confederacy of Dunces. And, civil war's brewing.
Direct quote.
He finds out Amidala there is like creating an opposition party. And he's like, oh, for Christ's sakes, Tyrannus, deal with this. And Tyrannus goes, and he calls up, Jango and be like, kill the senator, please.
Jango, you're unchained.
Yeah, there we go. And he's like, I've gotten...
Named after the same character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got really used to being just kind of sitting cushy in Camino with my boy. Think I'm gonna subcontract out. And
But I'm still gonna go and babysit to make sure
just in case.
the assassin I hire does it right.
Yeah, because
Why do you always micromanage?
Exactly, he's got this problem. So that's why they tried to kill her. That's what's going on with the army. It's all just part of this larger plot, because at the end, because remember, Dooku was being like, Republic treachery, and this army is a surprise to me. And then at the end, he's like, good work, boss. Everything's going as we planned. Like, everything's horrifically out of order. And there's, like, obviously to a certain extent, some of it needs to be kept secret for the surprise, quote-unquote, factor.
Surprise!
But, like, you probably could have established earlier somehow or something that, like, what, yeah.
So here's the thing. So they've bought these clones.
Yep.
I assume that's not cheap.
No.
Those Brontosaurus people still haven't gotten paid.
Really, you would think that they would have noticed that big fucking bill on their account way sooner.
Well, even if you can assume that, like, you know, Palpatine is able to, you know, hide it in funding for orphanages or whatever. You know, he, you would think that, like, once all of these fucking clones show up, somebody would be like,
Where did this come from?
Where did this army come from? How did this happen? But everyone's just like, no, we got the clone army now. It's all good.
Yeah,
Don't
we
ask
all decided
questions.
armies are fine, and here's one that's that's already
Safe
here.
idea.
Apparently
Yeah,
this
so-
dead guy ordered it.
And Saifa Diaz also only exists because of a typo. You might notice that his name also sounds a lot like Sidious.
Wait a second.
And this is from, I got this from the IMDb trivia, is that it was originally going to be, I don't know exactly what, but they misspelled Sidious, and George Lucas liked the name Saifa
gosh.
Diaz, because that's...
That
That's
explains
like
his naming very well.
a spell check error.
Yeah, it fucking... I believe very heartily in the power of serendipity in filmmaking. It's an incredible thing when, like, you know, the end of the final shot of Barton Fink
I was just thinking of the last time of Barton Fink.
is one of the best things ever. It's if you are unfamiliar, a seagull dies in the background.
Oh, wow.
While it has this very California beach scene with this woman sitting there, and it's all about the Hollywood dream dying for this person. So it's just there's this image of the dream, and then a seagull literally just dies in the background.
Fuck.
It's hilarious, and it's perfect for the movie, but a little bit too much serendipity if you're pulling... I like this typo. Let's keep this typo.
That's how Lucas gets most of his names for characters, I imagine.
He just
Sounds right.
puddings in a wall and full of letters, and that's what they are. God damn it.
So what's Dooku's deal? He used to be a Jedi, and then he just up and quit one day?
Guess so.
He's also
That's a thing you can do?
apparently a member of the peerage.
Yeah, he's a count.
What is ever his motivation to do anything?
Power!
No recollection.
Power!
That does not sound like a Jedi trait. It sounds
Well,
like...
because he's Darth Tyrannus now.
Did the
That's why he
Jedi throw
quit.
him out?
Yeah, I guess it's been... Yeah,
think
because
he
now that
quit.
supposedly... because we don't know that Darth Maul is technically still alive for a portion of this. Maybe... And there's supposed to be two. Yeah, this whole fucking thing just doesn't work.
Well, I think...
Well, the thing is that the supposed to be two thing might be bullshit, because that's just something that Yoda said. And Yoda might not be all there anymore, you know? He's 900 years old.
Well, in the...
Well, I hope I have it as together as him when I'm 900.
You can do that many flips.
Yeah, a lot of flips. I love how he does a billion flips, and then immediately picks up his cane and starts acting feeble again as soon as people are walking in the
He's worn
room.
himself out with the flipping.
I think he's
To be
just
fair, as somebody who
conning
has
them.
chronic pain, you wanna
You have that. You have a burst of energy, and then you're like, that was a mistake.
and then you never want to move again.
It's like, right, that's why I don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I just think he's been... You know,
Willy Wonka in it.
Yeah.
Willy
Exactly.
Wonka-ing it.
That's better. I was going to say Weinsteining it, but, that's good.
It is a nicer comparison.
He's also impervious to lightning, we see.
That's how powerful he is. Which, again, really points to the fact that a lightsaber duel was stupid. It's like, hey, remember this fucking all-powerful lightning you remember from Jedi, which was so fucking nasty? He can just grab it like a fucking ball. And you're like, fuck. And we still just have a fucking lightsaber duel like chumps.
Yeah, and Obi-Wan catches the lightning with his sword.
Yeah, which
And,
fair enough, I guess.
and Anakin gets lightninged across the room.
Yep.
First time, last time was much later.
Mm.
He gets lightninged as he's throwing his boss down a flight of stairs.
No. Oh.
Yeah, it's so
That would have been amazing if it was a giant spiral staircase instead of a shaft. Sorry, you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, just looking at that, I keep ragging on this Yoda fight just because
It's so bad.
It undoes everything that is special about Yoda, in that he is just a little creature that when you first see him, you think he's just some rodent monster laughing at you. And Frank
Which is
Oz's
still true.
main piece of advice in telling them how to do the CGI Yoda, because in the previous movie they did have a puppet that
It was
eventually got
awful.
CGI'd over, was that Yoda should look extremely old, sore, and frigid.
Frigid.
Wow, poor Yoda.
I wonder if
Put
I,
out Yoda.
I wonder if I meant to write fragile or
Let's go with fragile.
I think-
Brittle?
I don't know, but anyway,
Turgid?
totally not what we saw in this movie.
See, here's
For
the
a
thing.
single scene, even when he's being, less active.
I don't think it even makes sense for Yoda to be on the Jedi Council, honestly. I think having him on the Jedi Council cheapens Yoda. I think he should
I
have
say he
been
should
like,
be on the Jedi Council, but he shouldn't be granted the rank of Master.
No, I think Yoda really should be like a fucking guru, like somebody like that you go and see and who has wisdom and
He's a little weird.
yeah. And like the Jedi Council, that's all the politics people, That's Sammy J.
Yeah, they don't seem to ever do
Kit
anything
Fister.
except judge you. And then
Yeah.
they show up in this movie all at once.
And also, apparently, their ability to use the Force has been diminished.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's
Somehow.
just thrown out there.
And somehow the Dark Lord knows.
Someone's
I don't know
been
how they know the Dark Lord knows, but the Dark Lord knows.
Someone's been
Who's the
stealing their
Dark Lord?
midi-chlorians.
Sidious, not that they know that yet.
Oh, okay.
When they're sitting right the fuck across from him at a freaking conference table. You don't
Your
think...
voice sounds real familiar.
Yeah.
Also, no one doubts his motives ever. They're like, oh, there's nothing he could be doing wrong. You call yourself Jedi? Can sense every other fucking thing?
I'm not gonna lie, you watch the prequels, and by the end of them, you're like, you know what? I think I'm on his side. The Jedi are fucking idiots. I mean, he eventually goes too far with the whole Death Star thing, but...
Oh, sure. He's not so bad, but you're angry that a fucking village of Tusken raiders who rape a woman to death get killed.
Because they weren't all involved in that part.
You don't know.
We don't know that, but...
I just feel
The
like,
women
honestly...
and the kids, too.
I feel...
Yeah, they were watching and cheering.
Oh, God.
Like, I just feel like...
Oh,
broke
we broke
justice.
justice.
Sorry, honey.
I was not prepared for that.
Hashtag grooming.
Like, it's weird, because I feel like what it is on the one hand, he wants Anakin to do something terrible. But on the other hand, he also wants to kind of justify why
being
it's...
the Tusken Raider?
Sorry, George. Like, George wants Anakin to do something terrible, but he also sort of wants to justify why it's okay that, like, these people are treated so badly on what is probably their homeworld. Which, again, like the last film in the frog monsters...
Gungans.
Thank you. It's like humans came along and kind of shoved the Tusken Raiders. I mean, not that there's many resources on this shithole Tatooine to begin with.
There's
but
lots of moisture to farm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shoved them out of the way and kind of like, So it's like, well, see, on the one hand, oh, that's awful. But on the other hand, you kind of feel all right about it. Because I'm a fucking asshole.
I felt fine about it.
So,
Well, not about that, about him killing them all, just to clarify.
So Luke's
Luke.
grandfather...
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, yeah.
Creep Lars? What's
Yeah,
Krieg.
something like that.
Creep Lars
Krieg means war in German.
bought himself a wife from Watto.
Gross.
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
Had a brother? No, he is a stepbrother.
Owen's his natural son by presumably his first wife.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
But
makes Anakin
he
his
kicked
stepbrother.
that bitch to the curb and bought himself an
Well,
upgrade.
she may have just died, to be fair, or something.
Or she may have left him to go to, like, just any planet that wasn't Tatooine.
He may have farmed her for moisture.
There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that kind of makes the whole Aunt and Uncle Owen thing a little creepier.
Yeah.
It's like, what's
It's not their fault.
No, but their connection to Luke is that their dad bought Luke's grandmother.
And so Obi-Wan's like, where can I stick this boy oh, I'll just give it back to the guy, to the family that bought his grandmother.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm sure they'll, well, I don't know, maybe they wanted a kid and couldn't have one or something like that.
I mean, we'll have to check how their expressions are at the end of episode 3.
Why are you giving us this child? We don't want this.
Ugh.
We're just poor moisture farmers.
Another mouth to moist.
feed.
I think allegedly they actually filmed that scene during the filming of this.
Just so they wouldn't have to pay the actors twice.
Probably.
Well, don't have to bring them back in 3 years. Like, we know this is going to happen. Ewan looks sad because everyone you love is dead, and here you two, he's going to hand you a swaddled thing.
Actually, that sounds familiar because I feel like there's like one scene in the next movie that they filmed early because they didn't want to have to go back to that set.
I'm
I'm
amazed.
pretty sure this set is in the middle of the Tunisian desert. So
I'm amazed that fucking mattered to fucking Georgie green screen.
Georgie
Oh, seriously, the green screen sets make me so fucking sad because so many of them. The comment I wrote down in my notes was they look like you're walking through a Windows desktop.
Yeah. Like, I know I mentioned that in our last recording, like, you know, for all the flack the prequels get for CG, the first one actually did still use a fair bit of practical effects. In this one, that's all just out the window.
you mean that droid making factory with all those hilarious hijinks wasn't a real practical place?
Hard to believe, I know.
Shocking. That whole sequence served no purpose.
It's gonna be in the video games.
Yes, you have to navigate C-3PO while he's hanging from the thing.
And what I learned from IMDb is that scene was added because they thought they got to the Geonosian battle too fast.
Oh, the
No,
arena
they
thing?
didn't.
They certainly did not. That whole...
It felt like we've been watching the movie for days.
I think it was because they're like, oh, we don't have enough C-3PO and R2-D2 bullshit.
Jake made a great comment about the fucking 3PO scenes. You wrote, you said, bring back Jar Jar, please.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Yeah, at least
I
Jar
thought
Jar is
he-
largely incoherent. The thing is, you can actually understand
The
the
bad-
stupid
Bad jokes.
jokes that
Like-
C-3PO does.
It's like how Yoda got over-Yoded with his speech in these movies.
Around the survivors, a perimeter create.
I hated it. I thought you were lying. I see now.
3PO
Terrible.
went from kind of an aggravating dink to the most annoying prick in space.
I'm beside myself.
Like, I just fucking
Hate him.
R2, do the universe a favor and just fry his brain.
He tried to kill him
Save us
several
all.
times in that droid factory.
True.
Yeah, only to save him when he was on in the
Battle.
I think he was trying to save the attack droid.
there you go. What a drag!
God.
That one was
God,
bad.
they're also really bad.
Oh,
Bad.
okay, we have to, since we're finally here,
Are we?
we have to, well, it's episode 2. We gotta talk about your boy.
Yay!
Dexter
He's a good enough guy.
He's got a mustache, big bushy
Bad
mustache.
CG, though.
Mustache rides for robot waitresses.
Mustache rides for robot waitresses. That's clearly his wife.
That's true.
Like-
They have a very intimate relationship.
Like, everyone was shocked when Lando was fucking that robot, but it's like, this is not the first time Star Wars has had someone fucking a robot. It's just the first time it was a 4-armed alien.
Who was shocked Lando was fucking that robot?
And a lot of people.
Don't believe it.
Who was shocked that anybody would fuck a robot?
Who's shocked that Lando would fuck anybody?
I'm saying he's Lando. He could have all the, like, bio pussy he wants. He doesn't need fucking robot
Yeah,
pussy.
but he wants whatever he wants anything. He wants whatever's
He
available.
just needs a Colt 45. It always works.
But yeah, so your boy...
That's the Billy D ad, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So your boy Dexter there, finally, Caitlin, you know what it is now. After all this time.
What it is.
Got a big mustache. And as you said, I think last week, that your impression, which I thought was close to accurate, is in fact, he's kind of Scottish.
Yeah,
a
he's
little.
not remotely Brooklyn-y whatsoever.
Not a
It's
bit.
so weird, because that is how even before you were doing impressions of him, that is how I always remembered
He'll
him.
always live on that way in my impression because I'm not changing.
But yeah, that's weird. I mean, even before that, like I said, for years, like if you'd asked me, what does Dexter Jettster sound like? before hearing your version, I think he's from Brooklyn or something.
It does have this, like, Brooklyn by way of Scotland.
Yeah, like, he immigrated... he immigrated long enough ago that his accent is kind of weakened, but it's still sort of there.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the fact that there's a 50s diner in space, on Coruscant, with sassy robot waitresses that roll around like the fucking maid from the Jetsons.
Rosie. I love Rosie. Rosie is a hero.
And sass the customers, and he's a four-armed slob, and
pants are falling down.
I wouldn't want to eat anything that he cooked.
Yeah, that shot of his pants falling down and him using one of his extra arms to like pull it up while
hugging.
Yeah, pretty gross.
Would you rather his pants just keep falling down?
Like, how does
honestly
Obi-Wan know this guy?
I'm sure there's a novel.
Like, it's like they're old buddies or something.
I'm sure we all can go on Archive of Our Own and find some.
Oh no,
Dexter Jettster is his name now. His boy Elroy.
Obi-Wan.
So Jettster knew that the dart was from the Kaminoans, but he didn't know where Kamino was.
No, he did.
Why didn't
he told Obi-Wan where to find it? But when Obi-Wan used the information to look for it,
there's a blank
it wasn't
space.
there.
If he knew where it was already, why did he have to go look it up in the
Maybe he was trying
library?
to find
Exact
extra
coordinates.
information or something. Because what he said was south of the Rishi Maze. He didn't have like exact.
Yeah. And then he says, "Oh,
And
someone."
space is awfully big. You don't want to just be.
and
definitely has south.
Yeah, well,
No, true. Yeah.
I think what's
Space
really doubly stupid is like, all right, so you managed to get into and delete stuff from the Jedi archives.
Who did that, Dookie?
Probably.
Like, unless you deleted Kamino from every archive in the fucking galaxy, it could have been as simple as as Obi-Wan going, I'm gonna go check literally any other computer.
Perhaps I'll Google it.
Oh, there it is.
I'm gonna guess that there is a much more mundane situation going on here in this movie. Cypher Diaz got shit-faced one night, ordered a bunch of clones on the company card, was like, oh fuck,
faked his death.
I can't cancel the order. I'm just gonna delete the planet
Non-refundable.
from the database and hope nobody remembers it.
Headcanon accepted.
This is the best.
Better than anything this
fucking
movie gave
version.
us, that's for sure.
That is some tag and binker here shit. I love it. We're here.
The librarian's name is Jocasta New.
Like
Correct.
KNEW.
I think I knew that.
It's just NU.
Isn't Jocasta Oedipus's mom wife?
And she knew.
Was she blind in this movie?
Clearly, she couldn't see Kamino.
Yeah.
The fucking scene where like
Beautiful.
little Odo where Yoda where Yoda
What podcast is this?
We're not sure anymore.
I want a show called Little Odo, like young Sheldon, except
But it's just
Odo
It's just a
hanging out
blob.
in Dr. Mora's
oh yeah, it's
lap.
like it's an hour a week of just some goo in a cup.
Occasionally it like ripples. Anyway, no, where Yoda has the younglings and they school Obi-Wan on the fucking obvious.
Yeah, right? If it's not there, it's there.
Captain Obvious you are.
No, what else? Learn, Ken, Master Obi-Wan. Your haircut sucks. Seriously, what does George have against Ewan McGregor? In the first movie, it's
he's
that
attractive,
horrible,
he's talented.
like it's the horrible like little ponytail and rat tail thing.
Yeah.
And in this, like, well, he's graduated out of that, but I still want him to look terrible, so mullet. Like, it's not until the next movie where it's like, yes, this is why people want to fuck him.
I mean,
Honestly, I thought in Phantom Menace he looked alright.
I thought
yeah, I
that
kind of
though.
like
I
the
think
hair was kind of silly, but I kind of didn't hate
I mean,
it.
I'd fuck him on heroin and train spotting.
Oh my! I
He
thought that
didn't have a rat tail.
No, that's true.
The rat tail
braid.
is part of the uniform.
He just
Yeah,
swam through a toilet
the
full of
braid
shit.
is the uniform, right?
What's the rat tail?
That is
But
a.
all the other
Sorry,
human kids
it's
have
the
it.
braid. I'm calling it a rat tail.
Yeah,
but
the
it's not.
braid it shows that they are Padawans.
That is a weird thing Lucas has always had a funny thing for, because, like, Val Kilmer has funny little side braids in Willow, too. And in fact, early versions of the Padawan haircut were basically identical to Val Kilmer's haircut in Willow.
Fuck, I love Willow.
I've never
It's a
seen
great
it.
fucking movie.
Yeah.
I
Don't get
was
me wrong.
concerned when he was supposed to be, going undercover or what have you, and we're going to go hide out in Naboo or hide out in wherever the fuck it was they were going, and no one's going to know it's us. Quick, Padme, put on your most expensive looking trash. Meanwhile, he's got the Jedi Padawan haircut
yeah.
that's recognizable for all fucking Jedi Padawans.
But
wear a hat, asshole.
but at least he put on a gross, horrible poncho. Whereas again,
Yeah.
like you said, she showed up in like it's like
He's got like
so
a
we're
shift dress on.
yeah, it's like we're posing as refugees. It's like, well, yeah, this is my shitty outfit. You fucking bitch.
And she brought a whole bunch of changes of clothes with her.
Of course she
Where
fucking
the fuck
did.
was she keeping them?
And your Royal Highness's matched luggage. Most of those
man, half
boxes
dog.
in that scene were her fucking luggage.
All right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm just done with this movie.
Well,
We
while
haven't
we're
even
here,
I also
gotten to
need to
the, we haven't even
poop.
gotten to the greatest love story ever told.
that's what I was gonna say. We're
Oh,
talking.
God.
So if we're
bad.
talking Anakin and Padme.
Oh.
Why did she not walk away after the first thing that came out of his mouth?
Oh, you're just like in my dreams.
You smell just like I
Unblinking
remember.
stare.
All I can figure is, like, keep in mind, this fucking poor woman was in some kind of, like, junior young Volk fucking Naboo political corps from probably the day of her fucking birth.
Yeah.
She's made chief executive of her planet at 14. She's a mess. Like, she did not have a normal upbringing. She is, on the one hand, very well versed in politics and shit, but otherwise so naive it's crazy.
Does she have a family anywhere?
I think there was actually a scene cut from this where we would have seen her parents.
Really?
But, like, she didn't have a sane upbringing, so she doesn't realize, like, she doesn't know what
She
a...
was also a virgin birth.
she doesn't know what a red flag is.
Oh,
They
and
never
Anakin
taught
is
her.
red flags all the way down.
I mean, he is...
I mean, the first, everything was cringy about their courtship, but the scene where he, touches her back, when they're standing by the lake.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Touches her back, and she kind of looks at him like she wants to run away, but she's afraid of him.
That is what George Lucas thinks is romantic.
Yeah.
No wonder his wife divorced him.
Yeah, many scenes, Anakin just looks like he wants to devour her whole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eating her
To
skin.
unhinge his jaw and see how much will fit.
Ugh.
Like, the fact that she does, all that, and it's like, I still love you, even after you admitted to me you murdered a town.
I mean, again, who cares?
It's a town.
Who cares?
But it's also not just that he did it, it's that, he came home and bragged about
He seems
it.
kind of pleased with himself.
I killed him.
Yeah, he goes on a
Oh, look at
tirade
this.
about how much he hates sand and sand people, and he really seems to hate Obi-Wan a whole lot.
Well, again, though, Obi-Wan's a fucking dick to him from start to
He
finish.
was a good friend and a cunning one.
I mean, being fair, he's trying to rein in this giant douchebag,
Yeah.
so...
I just... You gotta compliment Sandwich it, you know?
Here's the thing.
Hey, your hair looks great.
he-
By the way, you're really angry and it sucks. But hey, you look good in that
He's
tunic.
probably been trying the sandwich for years and it hasn't been
A
taken.
shit sandwich. Yeah, the scene in toward the beginning of the movie when Obi-Wan just totally dresses him down in front of
Oh yeah, that's so
Padme
awkward.
and Eye Patch and Gungan. There's everybody. Oh, Jar Jar, everyone's there, and Obi-Wan just goes on and on at Anakin. There's
Stop fucking up.
it's just everyone looks really awkward, and they're like, "Well, who wants refreshments?"
Seriously.
Yeah,
Call Dexter.
this idea that Obi-Wan and Anakin are great close friends. just is not
It doesn't come across in
does
this
not
film.
come across.
No, they hate each other.
The only scene where there's any sense of camaraderie is that split second where they're in the elevator. And it's like, I had to save you from that nest of gun darts. Like, you fell in, I saved you. And they have a giggle.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They have a giggle because they each think it was the other one's fault and don't get what the other one's giggling at.
Yeah, but either way, there's still a sense that they like each other in that brief moment.
I don't know. I say all of this is Qui-Gon's fault.
Yeah, I feel like...
Oh, sure. Blame the dead guy.
I will.
Well,
Thanks,
I mean, in
politics.
a lot of ways, Qui-Gon kind of saddled Obi-Wan with this kid, He's clearly got emotional issues that he hasn't dealt with, and...
I mean,
Obi-Wan just stuck with
maybe
him.
the fucking Jedi should invest in some psychiatrists. Or psychologists, whichever ones don't give you pills.
Maybe they should have listened to Master Yoda
Psychologists.
and sent this kid packing.
Yeah, or that. But, yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean. You kind of watch this and you really are just like, wow, I kind of feel like the Jedi kind of needed a little bit of a comeuppance. Starting to think maybe they got a little too comfortable being like this weird unofficial arm of government. A little too pleased with themselves. Yeah.
Queen Amidala's secret police.
Seriously.
I also noticed that there's a scene where they almost get devoured by creatures in an arena setting.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
was
like-
interesting.
I like
That's
the
one of the better
creatures.
scenes,
The
yeah.
creatures
It went
are
on
very
for
interesting.
a little longer than it needed to. And also because it was immediately followed up by a major,
Oh yeah,
Ground battle.
way too much is happening right now. Ground battle. That
yeah.
if you try to pay attention and to okay, wait, who's on what side right now? Because I have no idea. Everybody, if you want to kill me, raise your hand.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that when they were planning it and storyboarding it, and they were like, man, people are gonna be so amazed. We've never seen this many Jedis all fighting a battle.
So many
It's gonna be
lightsabers.
hundreds of lightsabers, and there's gonna be fighting these bug creatures and robots, and it's gonna be crazy and pandemonium. And they thought it'd be the greatest thing ever, but it just turned into this stupid mess. I actually do kind of like some amount of the ground battle that happens between the clone troopers and the, I guess the separatists.
The droids.
I don't know, when they got the walkers and there's I don't know,
I don't know. I think by that point in the movie, it's just overstimulation.
Oh yeah.
There was too much for me to focus on, and I didn't.
Oh yeah, no.
So I focused on none of the things.
That is exactly right. I think that they overdid it with the battle stuff. Less is more sometimes. George.
I mean, yeah, you look at New Hope. New Hope, way less was way more, and way more followable and enjoyable. And this one, I feel like it was all spectacle. It was all just flashy lights and way more lightsabers and just so many fucking Yoda flips.
Woohoo!
As many backgrounds, pretty backgrounds on Naboo as we could find. As many dresses for Amidala as we could find.
And listen, she looked very pretty, and the
She-
backgrounds were okay.
And her
but
weird white outfit sort of rhymes with Leia's white outfit from Empire.
I noticed that too.
So much rhyming.
Yeah, I kept thinking, oh man, I hope these critters. What was the thing in Jedi Rancor?
Yeah.
I wish they had their own animal handlers as well. That'd be sad that they got killed.
For all the weird fan wank in this, I'm kind of shocked that one of the animals in the arena wasn't a Rancor.
Yeah.
Instead, we got a cat rat and a mantis crab and a what was the
Rhino.
other one?
Rhino.
I know.
Yeah.
Just a regular rhino.
A rhino that got the Darth Vader burned half your body off treatment. It looked like
I do really like the blue tiger thing because he's so feisty.
he is.
He's
He's got a
basically the
lot
black
of teeth.
cat.
Yeah, I gotta
So
say
many
though,
teeth.
I hope Amidala gets some sort of antibiotics or something, because that scratch of that cat gator, that's gonna get really
Full of sand.
She's getting some
and
antibiotics,
then
all
she-
right.
No, but that's true, because she's got these gaping open wounds
No,
on
yeah.
her back, and then she falls out of a helicopter into a pile of sand. Which
That's what Bacta's for.
Question. As much so, I do like most of the initial arena scene with the animals because I think that's kind of interesting and cool. When you think about it, though, why exactly are they there doing an arena thing? They've been captured by Dooku and friends, and we've decided, let's let animals tear them apart in front of a crowd of millions.
That's just what they
I
do.
have a gun in my room.
see,
I can go get it. We'll shoot them together.
This is George's Roman trilogy. The first one had the chariot race. 2 has the, Christians in the arena. And 3, fucking, I don't know, I'm making this up as I go along. Maybe it has
Mount
something.
Vesuvius.
When they threw Jesus into a volcano.
Mount Vesuvius. Pompeii.
Yeah, there we go.
That happened. That's
It's over, Jesus!
It's a new
I have the high ground!
That's exactly what Pilate said.
You were the chosen one.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah,
I
boy.
want that on a t-shirt.
What?
Just a little hacked up Jesus on a fucking Pilate.
No, I think it's just the quote. Just make like a Facebook meme that's forget it, Jesus, I have the high ground and attribute it to Pilate, 32 AD.
Oh, dearie dear.
I think people would buy that shirt. We should make that.
Do it.
For this Star Trek podcast, you have this Jesus Star Wars quote.
On the back, it can be that quote that they attribute to not believing everything you read on the internet from Abraham Lincoln.
Nice.
Abraham.
Well, here's what we'll do. It's over, Jesus. I have the high ground. Spock. There we go. We've tied it in.
Good work,
Great.
good work.
Conscious
Yeah,
Spock.
I don't know. The arena thing doesn't make a ton of sense.
No.
And also, like,
Again, it's because George Lucas likes old
I feel like
movies.
as long as this movie was, they skipped over large swaths that should have been there, like them getting, captured. Like, there's a brief scene between Obi-Wan and Dookie, and then the next time we see Obi-Wan, he's tied to a post in the arena.
Listen, you can't have it both ways. Half the time we're bitching that they're showing them getting out
that
of
was
the
mostly
room
me.
and onto a space thing to travel to another place. Now, not enough detail.
Yeah,
Well,
Jake
no, I
really
just-
liked the walking
We
over
already-
to the space
I
car.
want the scene of the 3 of them ending up in, like, the dungeons,
Mm.
and then Dookie or somebody is like, all right, bring them out.
I guess the issue is it's that George doesn't know what details are important to show.
The real issue is this movie was already 8.5 hours long, and they really couldn't spare another second.
That's true.
Unfocused.
Well, because like it's a big deal is made out of that. Anakin disobeys Obi-Wan by coming to rescue him.
Even then, he's giving him shit. I came to rescue you. Yeah, good job, asshole, says Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
What a fucking jerk.
Also, they go up something's exhaust pipe to break in, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah, that was silly.
It's always an exhaust pipe. It rhymes.
It's like,
Jake, it rhymes.
what makes them think that Obi-Wan is in that exhaust pipe?
What makes them think someone isn't going to turn on the fucking exhaust system?
This is exactly the type of place Obi-Wan likes to hang out.
No,
I
mean,
had him in my exhaust pipe last week,
he's good friends with Dexter Jettster. They probably hang out in grimy tunnels doing drugs or something.
Nah, he's been in Dexter's grimy tunnel already.
Here's a question. To get us back to whatever the fuck we were talking about, because
They gave him the greasy spoon.
the plan is almost never clear. I'll let you guys just keep laughing. Fuck it.
Sorry.
We're concerned about Amidala getting assassinated because there's assassins fucking everywhere, as far as we know.
Yeah.
She has an army of decoys that she parades around with her wherever she goes.
Oh.
I feel like we like, aside from when the first decoy got murdered in the very first fucking scene, we forget that decoys are a fucking possibility for her.
I think now that she's
Why
not
not
queen.
send her to the Senate when they were like concerned over, she can't go to the Senate now because people are going to murder her. Send like 5 decoys.
Okay, but also they should have just let her get killed, because then she would have been a martyr to the cause, and they would have been like, oh my god, we need an army now more than ever.
I mean,
Or something.
Here's the thing, though. She's not the queen anymore.
Mm.
So
But she
maybe
still had a decoy.
maybe she can only afford 1 decoy now on a senator's salary.
Something at the Met Gala in an Eat the Rich dress, something rich hypocrite, something.
The government structure of Naboo makes absolutely no sense.
Now I just have this wonderful mental image of a bunch of Padme fucking lookalikes
On a speedboat with Saddam Hussein?
No, like running and like crossing through hallways Scooby-Doo fashion while Emperor Palpatine runs after them shaking his fist. Like, wait, you were just there. How you... Ah!
God. Oh, something else I wish you could put on a t-shirt. There's no way to really do it, but damn, if you could, it would be amazing.
Is Padme literally the only other woman Annie has talked to in his life other than his mother?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
probably talked to Yama
quite
once
obviously.
or twice.
He's probably talked to other Jedi, but they know him too well to put out.
Well, aren't they not supposed to?
Well, yeah, I guess
That's
not.
an interesting thing about these movies in general is that there aren't a lot of female characters in Star Wars, are there?
There have been.
I know, no. I mean, just in general, like there's, I guess, to its credit, once we get to the sequel series, there's a couple more.
The sequel series, Mandalorian's good about
Which
having women.
every fucking fanboy shouted down immediately. Everyone hates Rey. Everybody hates, what was her name? Rose? What they call her?
Yeah.
Rose. Everyone hates everybody.
Well,
Bunch
if
of
they
fucking
should-
incels.
Cause
well, they
fanboys
should have
are
been better
losers.
movies, and we wouldn't be complaining.
Oh, we got a black guy in this movie.
What?
A black guy.
We got a Sam Jackson in this movie.
And we had not
who-
Panaka.
Who never called anyone a little bitch, and I was done.
Or a motherfucker.
Seriously.
Yeah, that should have been his. I
I'm
know
a
that. I know,
lightsaber drawn
I know
motherfucker,
that
motherfucker.
the story is that he only agreed to be in the movie because if they let him have a purple lightsaber.
Mhm.
I would have liked it better if his condition for being in the movie was to be able to get one motherfucker in there.
He
Call
should've.
somebody a motherfucker. That would be amazing.
George technically lets him, but he has to say it in Hutt.
It's
There's
not
actually,
the worst.
there is, because of that though, there were Episode 1 action figures made that had, even though he never uses it in that movie,
Lightsaber?
Sam, what's his character's name again?
Mace
Windu.
Thank you. Mace Windu with a lightsaber, but because they didn't know about the Purple Order, it's either blue or green in the
Wow.
that
Oh
episode
my
1. Yeah, I'm
God.
sure it's technically worth money now.
Damn.
If enough people didn't take it out of the package.
But who wouldn't take it out of the package?
Sad 35-year-old virgins who bought them just as an investment.
Good point. Good investment.
Here's my favorite note that I took during the car chase sequence.
Oh yeah, the endless
Nah.
car chase.
Not enough discussions of trade disputes yet.
Yeah.
True. Like
Yeah.
it should have been on the radio while the chase was happening, just like in the background they're listening to like the galactic equivalent of CNBC.
Also, Obi-Wan is like quippy in this movie sometimes. Like
Not as quippy as 3PO, but
Like
yeah,
when-
he gets some very silly jabs in.
His don't make me want to die as much.
No. It sounds like he's just up to here with Anakin, which I can understand.
I also appreciate his strong anti-politician stance.
Mm.
Like I'm here for that.
Yeah, but Anakin like takes that and is like, yeah, it would be way better if there was just a fucking dictator.
Thanks,
Well, 'cause the
Anakin.
problem is that's what happens when you are on the one hand friends with an anarchist, but also friends with the chancellor.
Aw,
Yeah.
Anakin voted for Trump.
Oh God.
Oh,
yeah.
big time.
Several times.
Big time Trumper.
In the same
Anti-vax,
election.
too.
He like the reason he never heals from the lava is because he refuses to use Bacta. It's a conspiracy. He's rubbing himself down in bantha aspirin.
Oh, no.
That's not true.
Not the space ivermectin.
we know he uses a Bacta tank because of Rogue One. Don't choke on your ambitions.
Vader, why?
I love bringing that up. God, that was a good movie.
Rogue One was
Rogue
pretty
One
good.
is
Rogue
really
One is
good.
quite good. Especially now that we're reviewing some of these movies. I'm like, yeah, I could just watch Rogue One, though.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah, too bad we can't do that one again. Rather than
I
these terrible movies.
really did forget like how bad these movies were. I think in my attempts to like be not like I was really just too nice to them at some point. Like yeah, I've seen worse. I guess they're vaguely entertaining. Are they?
God, I just spent almost the entire movie because it's such a long bit of the
So
movie
long.
where Anakin is just creeping on Padme forever and ever and ever. Another note I wrote that's a great non sequitur. Why are we kissing? We need to have more talks about sand. It's just the whole thing is uncomfortable, toxic bullshit. Like, give me Han Solo over this creep.
For real.
Han, at least on some level, I'm sure is aware that he's like a jerk.
He 100% knows he's a jerk.
Yeah, the thing is, like...
But he thinks chicks love it.
Yeah, and he's kind of creepy, but, like, he's also charming.
That was
so
like...
he can kind of get away with it.
Well, and, like, back in the 70s, that shit was still okay. You know, I mean, it wasn't, but it was accepted. Like,
yeah, it wasn't uncomfortable to see it in a movie because it was so prevalent.
Yeah, like... And again, I mean, 20 years ago was fucking the Middle Ages in some ways socially.
20 years ago was 50 years ago. No, wait.
But, like, still, like, ugh. I'm sure even then people were like, this is...
It's because there's zero chemistry.
Yeah, no.
It's like...
They've known each other like a day. And
like,
all of a sudden he's like, you won't kiss me, dude.
I'm never going to be able to stop thinking about you. Ugh.
Well, and then it turns out, like, she's, like, into him, too. And it's like, you remember him as a 9-year-old with a head shaped like a mushroom.
Yeah.
You basically remember Toad.
Is that the only thing shaped like a mushroom?
No.
Barf.
I was just trying to make a Toad joke.
And you ended up making a chode joke.
Hey, it rhymes with toad.
You even
It's
got
like
this-
poetry.
That
You got
actually-
this.
yeah.
I'm going to write a poem about Toad's chode.
Please don't.
I mean, it's not even that, like, he's, like, I mean, like, just on paper, he's an attractive fellow, except for the haircut. It's just when he says anything.
Yeah, no. And like, honestly, Natalie Portman, despite being otherwise pretty decent actor in other things...
Wouldn't. Just
would
wouldn't.
Just like 2 blocks of wood that they just put on screen for about 45 minutes, and that would have been as effective. Yeah. I have to say, so far, 2 movies in, I'm standing by my assertion that Phantom Menace is better than this movie.
Yeah.
I would say.
Despite, I think, getting the most hate.
From whom? From
I think
the general?
Just general public.
I don't know. I hear a lot of bad about this, but I think it's mostly because the romance is so deplorable
Yeah.
in this that people really... This one stands out an awful lot because that's so much of the movie.
Yeah.
I really want to go back and rewatch Outcast,
Hey, yeah.
which is this bizarre Chinese-American co-production. It's a Nick Cage, Hayden Christensen
Oh, man. I remember
Film.
this existing.
It's very bizarre. Hayden Christensen is delightful in it because he spends most of the movie off his tits on opium. And one thing you give him is that, if nothing else, the man can do good fight choreography. And there's some really good fight choreography in that film. You know, I can't remember how well he acts in it overall because I haven't seen the movie in years. But I remember it fondly. So maybe it was okay. But also it's just like 2 of the weirdest motherfuckers on screen ever next to each other at one point.
I'm going to go out on a slightly more positive note. These, like every scene in the movie, aside from the kissing scene, because gross,
Yeah.
should be a ride at Disney.
Sure.
Because that would be super cool. Like, you know, driving around in a car with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Should be a ride at Disney.
Yeah.
You and McGregor would get really tired of doing that all day.
Too bad. Disney owns him now.
Please. I want to go home and see my family.
Where your
You and can we
family
take a ride with you? That's why I'm here.
Did they ever, I remember they said they were going to do an Obi-Wan centered
Yeah,
TV series.
it's being filmed now.
Oh,
I
is that
think.
actually going to do that?
Yeah,
And
I feel
Hayden-
like the pandemic kind of threw a wrench into that giant announcement of all their series.
Hayden Christensen's back as Vader.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
Ew.
Wait, in the suit? In the black suit?
Apparently we're going to see him in the suit and in like...
In flashbacks? No.
No, but like I think like in like back to tank again, kind of
Oh,
like
okay. Well, that I'm
Rogue
into.
One, possibly giving orders from the back to tank.
For some reason, like when you start saying that, possibly giving oral.
Oh, no.
Like Jesus Christ.
From
So
the back to tank.
if we're gonna go out on positives, I will say, you know, as I said, had predicted to Friends 3 years before, it starts to look like Star Wars. You know, we've got our little triangle ships, we've got our stormtroopers.
Oh, you mean like the aesthetics?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like the structure of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, God, Christ, no, fuck no.
Beginning
They
to
bring
look
in,
a lot like
yeah, I noticed they had like
Star
those
Wars.
proto Star Destroyers at the end that they showed.
Yep, big old Venator class, maybe. But
Oberth class.
no, those explode when you look at them. But I will, you know, I do really. It's a shame they changed the stormtrooper armor in the very next film because I love this armor with its ridiculous Rocketeer-esque fucking head fin and the visor. I love this armor. It's one of my favorites. You know, I enjoy it very much. The stuff in 3 is okay, but I really quite like this one. It's a shame that, you know, of course, a real suit of it was never made, since all the clone troopers in armor are CG.
Fucking bullshit.
Not a single clone trooper was a real person.
Oh, so that armor does not exist in physical form.
I mean,
sure
fans have made it, but
Probably,
like
yeah, but still.
Lucasfilm never officially made a set.
Wow.
The only physical sets
not
that
even
exist.
to like show the model makers.
I mean,
What
maybe
the-
a miniature, but
Maybe.
not full sized. Like every clone trooper you see in armor is completely CG. You know, like the ones at the lunch tables and shit are just that one actor copy pasted 1,000 times, but he is real. But yeah, all the clones, and he thought he was being clever. You know, because they're clones, so they're also clones. Shut the fuck.
Oh, we haven't
Fuck you.
touched on Baby Boba yet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who's more annoying, little Boba Fett or little Anakin?
Little
Oh,
Anakin.
Anakin.
Yeah,
Boba
my
barely says anything.
I don't know. He seems like a shit actor too.
Oh yeah, he sucked, but at least he didn't talk too much.
He actually,
I mean-
they brought him back to voice himself in the cartoon, and he was fine.
I do still feel bad for Jake Lloyd, though.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
poor prick.
What
He
happened to
just
him?
don't have child.
He just
actors.
didn't do well as an adult.
Well, I mean, the abuse over the years.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I
Well,
mean,
it's not his fault.
well, I know, but the internet is full of monsters.
Blame his parents for probably getting him into child acting.
I want to say also, like, doesn't he have some, like, genuine, like...
He has like some genuine issues. He has had run-ins with the law multiple times and things like
Yeah.
that.
Like, I think he has, like, some mental health issues that can't even be attributed to the abuse so much as just this would have happened regardless.
Mm.
Like,
It sucks.
I could be wrong, but I feel like he was, you know, like the kind of thing that you don't develop due to abuse. It's stuff that is in your genetics.
Like midi-chlorians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jay,
He also-
bringing it all back.
Unfortunately for him, you know, he's only 32, the poor prick.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't look much like they did when they become adults. Yeah, he looks more or less exactly the same.
Jake
Yeah.
Lloyd?
Like
See,
Macaulay
yeah.
Culkin.
I
Let's
gotta
see
see
him.
this.
Well, this isn't a good example because this is from 10 years ago.
Oh, well,
But even
that's-
then, he's still, like, there he is, 21. And aside from the fact that he can grow facial hair and doesn't have the mushroom haircut,
Yeah, it's still
that's baby Anakin.
Yeah.
They should get him to play Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Like
Oh,
shit.
fuck.
that's something that was going to happen no matter what course his life
Oh,
took.
yeah.
Poor kid.
But yeah, so that poor bastard. Like aside from the so much abuse, also just has genuine like
Issues.
yeah. And so it's I mean it's so sad too because I remember the watching like behind the scenes stuff on episode 1. He was so excited to be Baby Vader. And she's like, oh, you poor prick.
Weren't we going to end on a happy note?
Yeah, sorry.
Now I want to kill myself.
Sorry,
so
we
thanks for
got
that.
we got a little. And I feel bad because we didn't mention it last time and
Yeah.
acknowledge that we don't blame the little bastard either.
No.
He sure did suck, though.
But that wasn't his fault. Who knows? He could have possibly no children can act, but he could have been maybe a little better with a director that knows how human beings speak.
But he wasn't.
Yes,
And that's all that matters, because that's what we got. And it might not be his fault, but he did still suck.
but yeah. So on a positive note, again, like that armor.
Yeah. On a positive note, I
This
think
movie's over, and I never have to watch it again.
Yeah, no, true.
after seeing all the stuff with Boba and Jango, we get some fun stuff in Mandalorian. Which
Yeah.
I'm into.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
That's a
again,
very good show.
again, it's kind of a bummer they dubbed over the original Boba actor for the special editions.
But I like Tamara Morrison.
Yeah,
he's cool.
he's fun. He got to show up. He gets to be Boba. I wish they hadn't cleaned up his armor. It looks wrong.
Yeah.
We're gonna get the book of Boba Fett, which will be who the hell knows, but I'll give it a shot, I guess.
Yeah. Butts.
Butts.
But
That's the
Less
thing you
fart
mentioned.
jokes in this movie.
Oh God.
That
Oh,
guy.
yeah, you're right. Actually, that is one thing we don't know, though. You did mention that while we were watching games. We don't actually know if Django's armor is Beskar. Because
That's
that
true.
armor isn't necessarily made out of Beskar.
when did I ask this?
You mentioned at one point that his armor would be lightsaber proof.
I did not
I
mention
did.
that.
I mentioned.
Oh, Jake did. Sorry. So we don't know. It might just be a different shiny metal.
I mean,
Ooh,
I
shiny.
thought Beskar was the metal that those were made out of.
Well, yeah,
But he's not in the Creed.
The what?
Oh, that's a good point.
We learn in The Mandalorian.
He doesn't go around saying, "This is the way."
And he
this is
takes
the
his
way."
helmet off because he's not crazy.
Yeah.
But the other ones took their helmets off too. Starbuck took her helmet off.
Well, because she's not part of the Creed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you not watch the show, Jake?
I did, but
He's
she
a
still-
different division of the culture.
But she still had a
still haven't finished the
Beskar
second season.
suit,
So good.
right?
I mean, she had Mandalorian armor, but it sounds like Beskar is relatively rare, so not all Mandalorian armor is Beskar.
You get the cheap knockoff shit.
Of course, this is all, well, I won't get into it. Mandalorian culture is very different at this point in time.
Thank you for the restraint, Chris.
It is covered in Clone Wars a lot.
Clown Wars.
Yes.
Ooh.
which I've heard is actually a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like, I will say that. They took
Yes.
they took the familiar armor and it looks nice in blue and silver.
And,
Arguably looks a little better than it does in green and brown and whatever the fuck other colors
But yeah, and
Boba has going on.
like the Darksaber only shows up in that as well until you get to the Mandalorian. So
Yeah. Music's still good.
yeah,
Oh, you wanted to bring up they started playing Duel of the Fates in the most
Oh,
random
yeah, that
fucking place.
That was weird. Like, I mean, unless it's, I suppose this is a moment where he is going very dark, so the idea is it is quite literally the,
It's not a duel. The Duel of the Fates is about dueling.
Right,
Maybe he's
but now
dueling
it's an
between his light
internal,
and dark
yes.
side.
It really
Okay.
it should have been like Vader's theme though, shouldn't it?
Or a variant on
yeah,
it,
or like
or
something that
something.
hinted towards Vader.
Yeah, like, Duel of the Fates, there was a really weird choice.
There's no connection to Anakin.
And I don't know that they ever used Duel of the Fates at all in 3. Maybe they should have just resurrected it for the big final fight there instead of the new theme they come up with, which is okay at best.
Composers gotta do new stuff every so often.
No, I know, but
Keep them fresh.
the problem is it's underwhelming, and this is
we'll
frankly
see next week.
this is the more important. It's like Christmas and Easter. Easter is actually liturgically the most important Christian holiday. But Christmas is the big one for everyone because it's fun and commercial and shiny and no one dies.
Presents,
Yeah.
tree.
So like
Yule.
everyone
Log.
loves the Phantom Menace lightsaber duel because it's not 19 hours long and it's got the sweet music. But liturgically, the lightsaber duel in Sith is actually the important one.
yeah, it was the chosen one.
It was. But yes, I will say these movies, even
Gorgeous.
as the movies are not very good, the music is still good. Like, unfortunately, you can't say the same about the sequels. John's getting old and kind of phoning it in.
Running out of good composers to rip off, is he?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny there's a certain amount of ripping off happening.
All the good ones are dead.
But still, like, and even then, like, it's not even that the music in 3 is bad, but it's just not as good as Duel of the Fates.
More like Fool of the Dates.
I will say that I do think that Sith is better than this, so
Yeah.
you have that to look forward to.
Well, she's seen Sith.
Oh, you've seen Sith?
Yeah, I've seen Sith. I just
Somehow
never
she
saw
saw
this.
1 and 3, but not 2.
Somehow, a movie theater. That's how. It was magic.
Well, I guess what I mean
I bought
is
a ticket
I'm
and they
surprised
let me in.
I'm surprised you'd bother seeing 3 having not seen 2.
Well, I didn't want to go see 3.
Ah.
PO, but I went to see 3 because we were on Hilton Head with my parents, and my stepbrother wanted to go see it, so we went to see it. That's why I went to see it.
Fair
because
And you're like, wait, I won't understand what's going on because I haven't seen 2.
no, I didn't say that. I was
It's
just
also pretty
probably
easy, I think.
There
probably
will
what
be
I
a
said
Star
was,
Wars.
okay, John, you're really cool because you're older, so I'll go see this shitty movie.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Jake us out.
Oh, man. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, Start to Steer Her By is a podcast that you can listen to. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We usually talk about Star Trek.
And we like it a lot
can't
more.
Wait to return to those days, but for now, we've got a couple more shitty Star Wars movies in us. Next week, Episode 3, Revenge of the Shits.
No. That's why you shouldn't have so many milkshakes.
But they bring all the boys to the yard.
So I can shit at them.
It's always fun to have Justice on this show.
It's good to be back.
Thanks, Justice. We're sorry we ruined your Saturday.
Ruined or improving?
Ruined.
Ruined.
There we go.
Ruined.
Yeah.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
Oh, this has been so sad.
We love you, Justice. Come back soon for something good.
Yeah, I would
think-
love to.
I think you mean.
That's not what you bring me here for.
I think you mean this is so sand.
We're bringing you back for Threshold, motherfucker.
What's a threshold?
Oh, I am not telling you.
Oh, that's the...
Lizard.
Yeah,
That's the lizards.
I've never seen this episode, but I know about it.
Mm.
God damn it. Bring me for something good.
May the Schwartz be with you.
Suck hot shit
She's
out of my
actually
asshole.
a good... Oh,
Wow.
Jesus, no.
Who's introducing this one?
Jay.
Oh, Black Cat's getting your scent.
He's gonna find me.
Who's sent?
He's smelling my shoes.
This.
Can we never call it getting your scent ever again, please? Because that's immensely uncomfortable.
That's what Anakin calls it.
Then he pisses all over her.
Then he murders a bunch of sand people.
And children.
I mean, they're sand people.
Yeah, I mean, if he hates sand and he hates people.
Oh my god, it all works out. We should have known.
All right,
Like
let's
poetry,
do
it
this shit.
sucks.
Whoa, hey, I love poetry. It's not this shitty
There's
poetry.
a lot of bad
This fucking
poetry.
garbage Star Wars poetry. It's not even how poetry works.
It's like high schooler poetry.
Dude, I wrote better shit than that.
It's
in high
like,
school. Just saying, you offend me and my art.
It's like the kind of, like, I remember when I was in college, I took a course on 19th century poetry, and the professor was talking about the fact that, like, especially in New England, like, every town
Had a
decided
poet
it had
laureate.
needed a poet laureate.
Oh.
And they would have them show up at every insignificant little fucking event
Oh no.
to, like, read their new poems. Like, oh, we just put up a new church, get the poet laureate! And I imagine that so much garbage must be there. And that is the poetry this is.
I think you need to be further from the microphone. You're just telling us an anecdote and it's clipping.
We're sending blessings to the people here today to open the steeple.
Nope, too good.
See, here's the church and here's the steeple. Open the doors and see all the people.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you haven't heard
That's
that
poetry.
one? You haven't
You
heard
ever
that
seen
one?
that before?
No?
It's a classic.
It's the oldest thing in the world.
Close the doors, have a cigar, open the doors, everybody's on the floor.
Oh, I never saw that version.
That's Jonestown for you.
That was cool. Anyway, Jake is away, boys.